Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name's Jane. So today's video is what I've been making this week. I have made a kind of academia vintage style A-line skirt. So stay tuned, grab a coffee and I'll show you what I've made. Hi there and welcome back. So today's video is my new skirt that I've just made fresh from the sewing machine yesterday, and I thought I would share it with you this week. If you remember that video I posted a couple of weeks ago with the vintage ideas that I wanted to make with those fabrics, I chose that gorgeous plaid fabric and I have made a skirt. So I'm wearing it now and it goes absolutely fabulous with my Ava blouse that I'm wearing. This is draft one of the Ava blouse. That's the next pattern that I am hoping, fingers crossed, to publish in March, hopefully. When I was making it I was thinking, I'm not too sure because the fabric is really unusual. I think it's 100% polyester fabric, even though it looks and feels like wool, like a wool blend, like a tweedy type of effect, but it's completely man-made fabric, and it's so clever how they make these fabrics now to like replicate the real thing. And obviously because it's got this like plaid effect print on it, it's not even woven in, because on the back side of the fabric it's completely black. I've got a scrap here, I'll show you the back side of the fabric. So there is the fabric in question. So it looks like plaid, so it looks like, you know, tweedy wool type of fabric, and it looks like it's woven, but no, on the back it's just completely black. And it's got that scuba ponty feel, so it's quite stretchy. It's not stretchy that way, it's quite stretchy that way, so it's almost like, well, jersey really. Ponty scuba, definitely. So quite unusual. So it was quite spongy to sew with, nice to sew with, but quite spongy, so I had to keep my eye on the foot of the machine because it just wanted, the fabric wanted to do its own thing. Lovely to cut, lovely to handle. Ironing, no. Luckily I tested a sample before I went to press my seams. I'm glad I did, because my iron just melted on it straight away, even though it was on like a medium heat. And so I had to use my organza pressing cloth to press the skirt. So I'm so glad I tested it on a piece of scrap, or I probably would have ruined the fabric. And I didn't have an awful lot of fabric, I only had 1.5 meters as well. So I didn't have an awful lot to play with. I would have liked to made it maybe a few inches longer, because this is more like a midi length. Maybe make it a little bit longer into like a maxi length, but it's absolutely fine. I really do like this length, but I couldn't have made it any longer anyway. And I really did squeeze everything out. So when it comes to ironing it, it's quite bouncy fabric, so I didn't really want to press. It has pressed, but not as crisp as you would want with like if it was a wool or a cotton or a natural fibre, shall we say. Probably didn't even need to use my overlocker on the edges because it's not going to fray. But I did overlock my seams, but it's just not going to fray. So it's really, really unusual. Quite stretchy. So that was unusual. The only downside is to this fabric, it is a cat hair magnet. But yeah, I'm totally thrilled. So what I used was my Sadie skirt. Pop a picture up of me wearing it, and it's actually hanging here on my rail. So if you remember the Sadie skirt, it's got that, it's a A-line skirt, but it's got the ruffle on the bottom and it's got the like pockets. And I shall show you sneak peek of my skirt there. So there's a Sadie skirt. So it's got the pockets, zip at the back, and then it's got the ruffle hem. So when I come to do this version, I thought, well, I'm not going to have pockets. I'm going to stay away from pockets. I'm just going to have a really simple A-line skirt and based the design on a couple of pictures I found on Pinterest, and I'll pop them up as well. And I just added the 6 buttons at the front just to give it that librarian kind of look, which is what I was after. Now I think it was only had 1.5 meters, so I was really, really tight in the length. I couldn't make out. I think I'd like to make it a fraction longer if I made it again. So this is kind of a midi length, which is fine with my tights and my boots. But I think I might like to try another version, a few more inches longer. So I just thought straight, no fuss, no pockets. But I think pockets might have been good, because I keep going to kind of find the pockets. But I do love the button detail. I just think it just gives it something different. And what I did was, and I did make things really hard for myself. Yeah, that's what I do. Because if I'd have chose the plain grey fabric, it would have been absolutely fine. But no, oh no, I chose this plaid. And then I thought, how about putting some panels in with some nice top stitching down the front? But of course, it's got this plaid check, and I thought, oh, I've made so much work for myself here. But saying that, it's helped me appreciate pattern matching so much more. I was a little bit more considering when I was cutting it out, so I suppose that's good. It's all a learning curve, isn't it? And then I did the top stitching. Now, I think I'd like to have done the top stitching maybe a little bit wider. I just used my presser foot as a guide, so it's quite a narrow top stitching. Maybe I'm just being a bit picky. And so I thought, well, if I do the panels at the front, I'm going to do the panels at the back. So again, I had more pattern matching to do, and then I obviously had to put my invisible zip in and my waistband, and it was all like, oh, nightmare, all this pattern matching. But I did it. It took much longer, obviously, than if I did it with a plain fabric. But as I said before, you don't want things that are too easy, do you? And that's how you learn. And it goes absolutely perfectly with this brown. It's going to go even more with this green, which is the same fabric as this brown, exact same fabric, but the green shade. And this is what I've got earmarked to do another Ava blouse, the exact same blouse as this, but with a pussy bow, I'm thinking. So I'll have two options to wear with this skirt. And I'm even thinking, when I'm looking at this fabric, which was the other fabric I had for that video, I even think that would a push go as well, maybe with a little waistcoat for that kind of librarian preppy look. We shall see. So these are the three left from that video I've still got to work on. That was earmarked as a pinafore. I think I've got 2 meters of that, so there should be enough for that. And it cost 2 blouses that's going to go under the pinafore and go with the skirt. When I was making it, I was thinking, I'm not too sure about this ponty kind of scuba feel to it, but didn't want to press, and I thought, oh, maybe it's not going to work. I really love it, and this is going to get so well worn with my boots on my tight. Super thrilled, and I thought, must share it with you. And I just like the buttons. Tell me what you think of the button details. I think the button details just gives it that, you know, that academia type of a look. And all I need now maybe is a nice little knitted vest on the top, or argyle type of vest on the top. I haven't got one of them. I have, but it's blue, so it wouldn't go, but something like that, I'm thinking. I haven't done too bad with my pattern matching. There's just the odd one that's a fraction out, and no one's going to get that close, to be honest. So yeah, so that's my A-line academia style skirt. Show you the picture of what I was aiming for, and I think I haven't done too bad there. So another nice winter skirt to add to my wardrobe, and it will be getting well used, that is for sure. It's so soft, it really is soft. Very, very clever how they make these fabrics these days. So yeah, so I'm excited to make maybe some spring summer ones in like a bit of mix and match type of fabric, so stay tuned for that. But I'm really pleased that I did a little bit more to it, beefed it up a little bit more, and went out my comfort zone and did the pattern matching. So I was quite pleased with myself yesterday, and it's just fresh. This is fresh off the sewing machine yesterday, so I thought I'd share it with you for this week's video. So let me know what you think. What do you think of the little buttons that I put on the front? They were a nightmare to line up. One of the buttons I had to unpick 3 times because I just could not get it lined up. And then I can't wait now to get working on this into some sort of A-line type of pinafore dress. My mind's going around already on what I should do with that fabric, but we shall see. But yeah, thoroughly enjoyed making this skirt. It was a nice afternoon of sewing. It took longer than if I just did a plain A-line skirt because of all the pattern matching, which obviously is going to take time. So yeah, so that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for joining me this week, and I shall see you on my next video. Until then, bye for now.